All right, there you
just
go.
for the record, blocking names and things, I think is in your settings. It's in the
Is it?
advanced
Yeah,
settings.
I'm gonna have to go in and figure out how to block those names out of there. And I'll get to that. Maybe, yeah, blocking names
Okay.
are kind of blurring people's faces out a little bit. So if they do have a group environment here where other people don't want to know who's here. So anyways, thanks for going up. Introduce myself real quickly here. My name is Chris Okamura. I'll do a quick bio, introduce who I am. I've been in the industry for 20 years this year. I've had previously my own mortgage company, did both real estate and mortgage back in 2000. After the 07 fallout, I literally had an opportunity to get recruited directly by Keller Williams. And I was a team leader there, ran an office about 126 agents for 3.5 years. After that 3.5 year spell, I was kind of done with that whole franchise model. I thought I was, and then I didn't. I bought into an Intero franchise and gave that a run for about 6 months. Didn't work out really well. So I wasn't going to give myself 3 years to beat my head against the wall to find out it wasn't going to work. And so I ended that. And on an opportunity to connect with a good friend of mine, Brent Gove, who I've known for about 10 or 15 years in this business as well, who reached out to me and said he had actually taken his whole entire team, which was a $100 million producing team at the time, and he left Keller Williams. So he says, I really want to connect with you and let you know what's going on. And I obviously was very curious. When you take a $100 million producing team and leave somewhere, I want to know why. So I was actually at that point, about 19 years in my business, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And when he presented this to me, I literally saw a webinar and information about the company I'm at now, EXP, which I'm going to share with you today. And within about first 5 or 10 minutes, I literally was in. I had no idea this was going to be as amazing as it is, but it was really a no-brainer for me. And instantly, I saw an opportunity here that I never would have thought would be possible in the last 20 years. So I want to share with you guys what's really exciting to me and what I've really been accustomed to and been affiliated with here in the past 20 years. Real estate-wise, I'd say that every company that I've ever been involved with has had some level, in which most companies you're probably with yourself, have been involved in some levels, have an international presence, right? They all have it, whether it's Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, RE/MAX, Century 21, they all have some international presence, money, connection. And in turn, all these internationals, they in turn have these little territories that they stake out, and they put them all different areas, and they create these regions, okay? The regions turn out, and they, after find those, they go and they find the people with money, right? They call the owners. The owners are the ones that are willing to take all the risk in the game, okay? So the owners, then they go, and in turn, they go and they hire people that go handle the day-to-day activities, which is the managers and the staff. Now, the manager and the staff go and they hire these guys here, which is us. I call us the bottom of the barrel. It really is. And everything designed from this business model has always been that we've always been on kind of the lower deck, right? We've been playing below the field because the truth is we've never been able to see above the line. Everybody else that's been above the line has always seen all the benefits of everything, whereas we've always been below, and we've just been told to do this right here. I call this the trifecta. The trifecta is the buyer, the seller, and the transaction. We've been chasing that since day one. And if you want to understand the core nucleus or the beginning of everything in real estate that rolls to it, this is where it all begins and ends. As realtors, this is all we're doing. We're chasing one of these, and we're praying to God we get the transaction. That's the root of everything. So, but unfortunately, is we're always seeing below this line, we never get to see the real benefits of what's happening up here. What really excited me when I saw this model is that the owner, Glenn Sanford, decided to eliminate all of this middle stuff here. So he eliminated the regions, the owners, management, and staff, got rid of all those, condensed it, eliminated, which by honest, it's a lot of money and revenue. And in turn, he ended up making the agent the owner, and he supported internationally. So number one, we've literally taken, we've flipped this whole entire model of real estate we've been so accustomed to for the last, I mean, if anybody's been it for the last 40 or 50 years, where it's traditionally been ran this precise way here, we've eliminated all the middleman, which is quite expensive cost, and we've turned the agent and made the agent the owner. It's kind of hard to wrap your hands around it and to understand it, but the truth is this is exactly what excited me because for so long, I've tried to work my entire career on how to be the owner. I never had a chance to do it. No matter where I was at, any company I was at, I've never been the owner. So now I have an opportunity to see this, what excited me. So I realized that we're exactly like every real estate company, but we're not. I tell everybody we're 3 different ways that we're different. And one of them is that we own a disruptive technology. It's called the Cloud Office, which is our Verbella. Now I tell everybody, imagine this about 20 years ago, if you were sitting in a Starbucks and Jeff Bezos walked in the door and sat down and said, hey, I got this cool thing that I'm going to disrupt the way you shop online. You're going to have the ability to take your phone, buy anything, have it shipped to your house, half the time, half the cost, and a fraction of the time, and a little bit would sent to your home. What do you think you would think if he said that to you? Honestly, you probably thought he was crazy, right? But then he said to you, hey, just give me about $3,000 to invest in this technology, and I promise you it'll work. I promise you. Okay, well, let's fast forward to 2020. In the case that we did that, if we had invested $3,000 of our money into a product that we had no idea what it was going to be, and today we know exactly where it's at, right? You'd be a billionaire, okay? Because you invested into a piece of technology that was disruptive at that time. So in essence, we at XP here, we have the opportunity to be owners, or we are owners in a disruptive technology. It's called our cloud office, okay? And how we do that? We have the ability because we're all stockholders, okay? EXP is one of the first companies ever to be publicly traded on the NASDAQ, and every agent in the company has shares, so we're all shareholders. Most companies, like Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker or Remax, they have stock options, but only the upper deck again here are the ones that get to take advantage of that. As agents here at EXP, as agent owners, we have an opportunity to have stock in this company, so we have a say. We get to talk about the company, we get to share about the company, we get to have a say in how things work in the company, which is never again in my career in any real estate model have I had this chance. Okay, now there's 5 ways to acquire stock here. 1, when you close your first transaction, you're awarded stock. 2, if you bring somebody into the company and they close their first transaction, you're awarded stock as well. 3, when you cap, we have a cap program here. Those aren't familiar with the cap, we have a $16,000 cap that when you reach paying the $16,000 in company dollar to the company, you reach 100% of your commission. Okay, in doing so, you're also awarded stock. I have a program where I'm actually offered it, where I can purchase it every 5% of every one of my closings that I buy stock for 10% discount here at the company, okay? The 5th way is if it's called an icon, meaning that when you hit your cap, if you do 20 more transactions beyond that cap, you are awarded your cap back to you in the form of stock, okay? So 5 ways to acquire stock. So I tell everybody, option 1, which right now, if you're operating a real estate business, any other brokerage that you're doing right now, doesn't matter where you're at, because again, all you're doing is this right here, right? Your buyer seller transaction, this trifecta, you're doing it regardless. It's your single sole only one option. Here, you got an option to actually do that as well. Get paid commissions the same as you would over there. But right now you start to acquire stock and create a 401k or retirement plan, whatever you want to call it, for you and your family for the future. It's working for you as you're doing your job regardless. Make sense? Awesome. So the 3rd thing that really, really excited me was the opportunity for us to share in the revenue. Again, I mentioned back here where we eliminated the regions, the owners, the manager, and staff. It was a lot of overhead costs and revenue. And when was that done, it was put back into the company. And who owns the company? We do. And we get to share in that by sharing the revenue. So not only are you doing, again, an opportunity, we're doing this trifecta of the buyer, sell, and transaction option, which is you're doing right now. You actually have a second option of being able to acquire stock, doing the same thing, and also be able to share in some of the revenue of the company, which you've never been able to do ever in years past. Make sense? Awesome. Okay, so what I want to do is actually give an opportunity to share with you 2 things that we've been told to do since day 1 in real estate. It's to sell real estate and invest in it, right? We're selling it because the selling part of it is what pays our mortgage and our day-to-day activities. And investing it is what takes care of us, hopefully, in some end game that we start to create for us in the future. How many of us do that? 90% of us have no future, no end game or retirement plan in real estate. I want to share something with you here. If any of you guys can just tell me what some of these numbers represent here. Anybody in there have an idea of what these numbers represent? Honestly, if you've ever had a chance to talk to a financial planner, the maximum you can withdraw from any annuity or money that you save annually is 4% a year in order for it to sustain itself for the rest of your life on this planet. Okay, so this gives you an idea of about $900,000 that you might have to save after taxes. 4% is your maximum annual withdrawal rate. $36,000 is your yearly income, and $3,000 a month. Now, I tell you, the reality is this puts things into real perspective here, because the truth is, if we're selling real estate every day, day in, day out, chasing the buyers and sellers, hoping to God we keep getting transactions and doing this on a treadmill, if we ever stop one day, this would be ideally what we'd have to look forward to. And in my mind, I think $3,000 a month, honestly, is like living on top ramen. It really is. This is not my ideal way of retiring. That if I quit selling real estate, this would be my monthly income. But the truth is, how many people actually have this saved? Not very many. In fact, I think the average people wouldn't even have an opportunity to do this. So I'll be kind of conservative and say, if you had maybe a significant other or somebody that you kind of lived with that actually had a real job and they had an opportunity to save, you guys would be able to do this maybe 20 or 30 years, maybe, okay? But take the consideration what's going on right now. We have a situation that's an epidemic that's caused a lot of us to stop working, majority of us across the country. So money is great to save in good times. What happens in the bad times? You end up spending that money, okay? But what I want to actually look at is part of the investment side. Most of us have done it, and I've done it myself. I've flipped properties and I've had rentals, because the idea for me is that hopefully I would gain some kind of residual or passive income from this at some point when I get a positive cash flow. That was my end game. Multiple rentals, multiple flips, so I can gain some cash flow, some capital, and have some cash flow coming in. Imagine this actually being maybe a rental or two rentals that come in that you can have where you have rental income coming in without the headache of actually having the rental problems. The 20% down to actually get to acquire the loan, the property taxes, insurance, renters that possibly don't pay rent, spend half the time trying to kick them out. When they do kick them out, you spend tens of thousands of dollars to remodel the place to get it back up to speed so you can rent it again and do this whole thing all over once again. There's so much headache involved in that. But if you could eliminate all that and actually still have this potentially a $3,000 a month cash flow, that would be life-changing. So we have a plan here. Again, if I want to go back and express what we did when we eliminated all those middle, the managers and staff, the regions, and we had all the extra added revenue, we were pumping it back into the company, the agents, and we're doing so by sharing the revenue. When we do that, I have a 2-year plan designed where in 2 years, you have an opportunity to create this same model above where you would have potentially, would call it two rentals without actually having all the rental headache and all the stuff that comes with it. So my question to you is that in 2 years, obviously this is kind of a facetious question, but in 2 years, could you potentially talk to 2 buyers and sellers a year? 2 to 3 buyers and sellers a year? And the answer should be yes, right? Because that's our job. As realtors, again, we are chasing this buyer and seller trifecta here. For us to actually talk to and acquire 3 buyers or sellers a year is not hard to do. But I'd say this, to actually have a conversation now, that energy it takes to actually go chase those buyers and sellers on a daily basis, the same energy it takes to actually go have a conversation, probably less energy, to have a conversation with 3 colleagues that are in the business that maybe know, like, and trust you, that respect you. It's pretty the same energy, same time. So it would be easy to say you possibly could talk to 3 agents a year for 2 years about something that's going to change their life and make a huge impact for them. So EXP is willing to pay you $2,800 per agent per year, that cap. Again, a $16,000 cap here, okay? So first off, I'd say this, not to be brokerages, and probably not the one you're working with today, gives you an opportunity that you could possibly supplement and kind of cover your cap as you're working in a 2-year plan. Most brokerages you're working right now in 2 years now offer something that allows you within 2 years to literally start supplementing or start paying you back your cap. You're paying your cap in every year, but this gives you a chance for it to pay you back, okay? Now I always say this though, those 6 people that come with you in the first 2 years, I call it the Jerry Maguire disease. Like, who's with me, Jerry? I'm with you, Jerry, right? Somebody always follows somebody. It's always been that way because it's by word of mouth, by relationship, by people who know I can trust that actually go and do what they do. So those 6 are going to bring in an additional 1 person in a 2 years. So that gives you additional 6 people. It's going to happen. So EXP is willing to pay you $3,200 per agent per year, which ends up being $19,200. Together, that ends up being $36,000 a month, or $36,000 a year, or $3,000 a month. This ideally is your option 1, going out, selling real estate every day. Or option 2, you can have a conversation with 6 people in 2 years about changing their life and creating that passive income or that residual that they've been looking for this whole entire time in their business, okay? Because again, we're told to sell and invest. Here's a way to invest, because the truth is you're going to either spend your energy chasing these buyers and sellers, or you're going to chase your energy and having conversations with people who you know I can trust and respect you, but about something that's going to have a huge impact and change their life. I would rather be doing things that have a huge impact and change somebody's life, okay? But the beautiful part about this is just a bare version of how this works, because there's more levels. It goes down to 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And people tell people who tell people who tell people. That's exactly how this actually grows, okay, through relationships. So this is an idea of what this would look like, where you could potentially, again, option 1, sell real estate till you die. Option 2, create some stock options here and start paying you some money on the job that you're already doing, making additional money doing what you're already doing. Or 3, have an actual conversation with 6 people in 2 years and have an opportunity of having 2 rentals possibly. I call it 2 rentals without having rental headaches. Having the income, positive cash flow from 2 rentals without all of the garbage that comes with that. And for those who've had rentals, you know what I'm talking about, okay? But my vision now at this point, I've always learned what I wanted to do in the last 20 years is find a way that we can create a win-win environment. And when I say win-win, I mean where everybody wins in a scenario. And typically, as a real estate business, we've never won. As realtors, we're just kind of living where the upper deck's always winning, okay? So in this opportunity, we're in this model, we've created a chance where I can actually create this opportunity for everybody. And this is how I want to do it. This is how I work and help people these days. So again, you already know what those numbers represent on top. $4.5 million, obviously, is money that you save after taxes. The 4% is your withdrawal rate. And $108,000 a year, now $15,000 a month. Now, this would be like 5 or 6 rental income properties, right? 5 or 6 rental income properties coming in without all, again, the rental problems and challenges that come with it. But this would completely change your life, okay? So, and I would say arguably that $4.5 million is nobody's ever gonna say. I don't care who you are. I'm trying to be conservative or real, but nobody's gonna say $4.5 million. It's the truth, okay? But I have a plan within 3 years to create the same opportunity for you as, again, you're selling this trifecta and chasing these buyers and sellers. You have a chance now to have a third option to create this retirement plan or this investment. You're gonna invest in yourself where you could potentially have 4 to 5, 6 rental income producing properties without the properties, okay? So in a 3-year plan, same thing. This time, your first year, you're gonna do 3. Your second year, you're gonna do 3. But in your third year, you kind of go a little crazy and you do 4, 1 additional person, okay? So that would give you a total of 10 people in 3 years. 10 people in 3 years, getting to the math, $2,800 per agent per year. Again, that cap, that's $28,000. But my job now, what I want to do is I want to go help spread this opportunity, help create opportunity for everybody. So I want everybody, every one of those 10 people to get their tenants too. I want them to attain and reach the same goals that I'm reaching right now. So I want to help the 10 get 10. Okay, and that's exactly where I'm at now. Because the truth is, even when I was running a team and I had buyer specialists and listing specialists and TCs and executives, I had to exert the same amount of energy training my buyer's agents. I had to close more deals, my listing specialists, and how to list more properties. That same energy I was infusing in them the same time, except it was just for the next deal and for the next deal. I really want to focus my energy now on actually helping these agents the same way, coach, train them, and help them groom their business and grow 10 and let their organization grow as well. So if I can help my 10 grow 10 in the 3 years, that would actually give me 100. The second level will be give me 100 because the 10 will bring in 10. That's 100. 100 people, again, at $3,200 per agent per year, that cap is $320,000. Combined, that ends up being $348,000 a year. Again, understand though, these are agents that cap. So people telling me, well, Chris, what if not everybody caps? And you're true, it doesn't. In this particular area where I'm at, I'm in the Sacramento Roseville area. It takes probably around 6 to 8 deals for a person to cap here. If they're in the Bay Area, about 1.5 to 2 deals for them to cap. So essentially, if the agents that are not doing it, I will be conservative and say, what if we were to cut that in half and call them half cappers? Just to be real and conservative. If the $3,200 is cut in half to 16, because half of 32 is 16. So if I get 100 agents that are half cappers, which would be basically agents in the Bay Area over here that are doing half a deal, and over here in Sacramento doing 3 deals a year, which would pretty much be everybody. There's no room for leaving anybody out. That'd be $160,000 a year. Plus the 28 gives me $108,000 plus the $15,000 a month. This essentially right here is this model up here. So again, I tell everybody, you have your options. You can continue to stay operating your real estate platform. We're at currently where you're at. You're only gaining one option, which is real estate commissions. That's the only one you're getting, which we get that here as well. We get real estate commissions. But secondly, you get to create some stock ownership that you never had before to create and grow for you while you're sleeping. And third, have a conversation with 10 people, 6 to 10 people in the next 2 to 3 years. And again, I would come help you get your other 10 and create the same momentum for you that ultimately you can have the same thing that I have and have this opportunity where you could get, again, 5 to 6 rental properties without having the rental headaches. Okay. So this is the plan where we have that shows people the difference between creating generational wealth and legacies in your life. And this is where I'm at. I want to help create generational wealth for people and legacies within their own families. This is the goal. What really excited me about EXP. Now, here's some of the things, though, that kind of give you an idea of the bottom brass taxes of what it is, the fees here. You do have a one-time $149 startup fee. You have a monthly of $85 a month, which covers things like our KB Core, SkySlope, Breakthrough Broker, Regis Business Corporate Suites, and our EXP University, which is our cloud office. And you have Our $40 for E&O insurance, which caps it at $500, and a $25 broker review fees. This is per transaction. So you have a total of $65 per transaction. Okay. There is a $60,000 cap again. And after you cap your flat fee, after 100%, it turns to $250 per transaction. And when you reach that icon, when you reach that icon level, you now end up making a $75 transaction instead of $250, but you're still at 100%. Okay. So this is what excited me. I want to share a little bit with you guys real quick about EXP and what it's about in a nutshell. Again, option one, currently at this point, most of us, almost all of us traditionally are operating a real estate business in one single only option here, which is chasing the buyer and seller and creating commissions through the transaction. Here at XP, we flipped the scale a little bit. We've turned it where agents have become owners. We've eliminated a lot of the middle fat. We've created opportunities for you to create some stock, doing the same thing you're doing now. And actually at the same time, you also can share some revenue by having some conversations with people throughout the year anyways, because you're going to have conversations with them regardless, whether you're chasing the buyer and seller or you're going to go and attract an agent in the business and share with them something that's going to be life-changing. Either way, here's more opportunity, more options for you to create this diversification in multiple buckets of wealth. I hope this was informing for you guys. If you have any questions, we can answer those later. But I hope you guys appreciate this time, and thanks for showing up. That's kind of my nutshell, y'all.
I liked it.
A little different, honestly, for me to do this. Really different to do this like this. It is.
It was easy to follow.
Yeah. I just got to get used to doing this over a Zoom because it's so weird to see it over Zoom. I'm used to seeing people. Yeah, for sure. But it is different. But I do like this is first time I ever had opportunity to put this into a PowerPoint, though. We could literally do the same thing on a napkin now with this on our computer. So you guys can literally do this in the same fashion. And whether it's one-on-one or a group session and have the same kind of impact.
So, love it, man. And that'll be a huge value for us. I really appreciate it. It'll be awesome. Can I give you some critical feedback?
Yes, please. This is where it's
First question is, when you give us the presentation, will it be editable so we can
yeah, well, definitely I could do that. I could send you guys the editable version of it if you want to. Absolutely. You make changes.
So there's a few things that I want to add to my storytelling and stuff like that.
Totally.
But great. It was awesome, and this is exactly what I needed. So it's I'm excited about it. So from a feedback standpoint, you're probably talking